We are now in chapter 10 of Excel, which you can find the page numbers here, and the topic includes external data. So we're going to learn about bringing in data or files from Excel that aren't Excel to begin with. So we're going to open text documents and databases from Microsoft Access. We can bring them in, connect them, and even have a relationship between the two so they frequently update, all in Microsoft Excel. That's what we're going to be working in. So let me walk you through this process to set up, as it will be a little bit different than usual. So what we are going to do is we are going to open a blank Excel window like this. We are then going to go to Open. We are going to press Browse, and we are going to locate our student data files, which by now you should be a pro at, right? So let's open our student data files. Here they are. Going to go to chapter 10. Right here, you'll see that it says all Excel files. We don't want that. We want all files. We don't just want to be exposed to the Excel files. We want to see all files here because our goal is to open a text document. So if you scroll through this list, you should be able to find brokers. So let's see if I can find it. That took longer than expected, but here it is, E10H1 broker. I'm going to double click that. It's going to load it in Excel for me, but it's going to give me not a warning, it's going to ask me for some help. Because if I show you, if I open up that broker file, this is what we're opening up. Excel says, I don't know how to open this. You have to teach me, tell me some things. So we're going to tell it a couple of things, starting out with my data has headers, meaning row 1 is going to be the column headers here. We are then going to press next, and our delimiter is going to be a tab, meaning we're going to separate our columns by tab spaces. We are then going to select general to just keep the general ID on there. Press finish, and this should load us into Excel. Here is our text file loaded into Excel, as you can see. We're going to select columns A through D and make them big enough, so I'm going to double click there. You could also change the width to a specified width. We are then going to go to the File tab, press Browse, Save As, Browse, and save this to the location as per usual, with your last and first name on the end. So what we're going to do here, first of all, is click where it says Save As Type and change that to Excel Workbook. We're changing it from a text file to an Excel Workbook. And then it tells us a very specific name here, E10H1 commodities underscore last first. Press save, again ensuring it is an Excel workbook. Here we go, that is done. We can press save, and that will send us in to step 2, which has us importing data from an Access file. So in step 2, what we are going to do is we are going to press the Data tab. It's going to be a little bit different here because we're working in 365, most of us, and the text is from Microsoft Office 2016. I'll walk you through the differences. We have pressed the Data tab. We are now going to go over to From Access. So you probably don't see that up here, right? I would press Get Data, and then go to From Database, and then Microsoft Access Database. That will load up this. We can then navigate to our student data files, chapter 10. It says access databases down here. If it doesn't, you can select that. And the database we're looking for is transactions. Be very careful because you have 2 of them. We want the H1 transaction, which would be this one. So we are going to press import on that. Give that a second to load in. We're going to click on the transaction table over here, and we are going to press load. Let's press load. That will load into Excel. It might look a little different from the textbook. Our table is green and not blue. You can change that if you would like. I'm going to keep it as green. That's fine. Zoom in a little bit, make the columns bigger. Let's take a look at what it would like us to do. So we have sheet 1 here. We are, of course, going to change that to give it a more appropriate name of transactions. We are then going to save the workbook and move into step 3, which I believe is where we are going to make the connections. So step 3 has us setting up connections indeed. We are going to click on cell A2, which is the top of the table, the first cell that contains data. Click the data tab. We are going to go to where it says refresh all and press connection properties. Because we want to connect this to Access every time we open it. So if someone updated the database, we want Excel to be connected directly to that database and refresh the new data inside of itself. So we are going to click refresh when opening file, refresh data when opening file, then press OK. We are then going to press refresh all to refresh the data if any changes were made. They were not in this case. But now every time you open Excel, before it will do anything, it will take a second longer to load and it will say, hey, did Access make any changes? If so, I'm going to make some changes here. And that actually finishes us up with the first exercise. We can now move into exercise 2. So to start exercise 2, of course, we will do a file save as and throw a h2 instead of h1 on this. This is all about text manipulation. So working with text and manipulating text. We are going to select column C. We want to make sure that we are on the broker worksheet tab, so this one. We want to be in column C. We're going to right click and we're going to press insert. That inserted a row to the left, making what was C now D, or what was B now C. Okay, yep, what was B now C. We are going to select the range B1 through B6, B1 through B6, which would be this. Press the Data tab and press Text to Columns. So we're going to split the names up into separate columns. So we're going to press Text to Columns, which would be in the Data Tools here. Text to Columns should bring up a dialog box, and it does. We're going to teach it what to do. So we want the delimited on, meaning we're going to delimit it by a certain type. Press next. The tab checkbox, so it knows where the tabs are, is what we're going to change. We're going to deselect that because it's not a tab anymore, it's a space, right? Because between names we have spaces, not tabs. So now it says wherever you say space, I'm going to break that into a new column. So see Julia St. James, as soon as it found the space after the first S, it split it into a separate column. And the same for the rest of the names. And then press finish. That sends our second names over to the new column. So in B1, we're going to change this to first name, and in C1, this would be last name. So we split that up into 2. We're going to select the range E1 through E6, E1 through E6. We're going to do text to columns again. We're going to ensure that delimited is selected. It is. We are going to press next. And we are now going to delimit by the comma checkbox. So I believe we're going to deselect space and comma. So you see the comma? That says wherever I have a comma, that's where you should split into a new cell. And it does so. We can then press finish on that. And that should split over into column F. We didn't have to insert a new one because there was a blank one anyway. Okay, so now we're going to select the range A1 through F6, like so. We are then going to copy the data, Home tab, copy, and paste it in starting at cell I1. Let's see. So cell I1 would be over here. So I'm going to paste that in and press escape. So that is a strange place to paste it, but here we are in cell I1. It's the exact same data. It says before continuing to the next step, you copy data for future reference in this exercise. Okay, so we press escape, we save, we move into step 2. Step 2 has us using the proper function. we're going to select the range B2 through F6. So B2 through F6 would be our original set of data here. Sorry, B2 through C6. B2 through C6. We're going to delete those names. We're going to click in cell B2, go to the Formulas tab. We are then going to go to the text functions, which is right here, and we want proper. So this is going to convert a string to a proper case. The first letter in each word will be uppercase, and all other letters to lowercase, just like you would expect. So if someone doesn't enter text in the way you would like, we can manipulate that text, and that's what this is going to do. We're going to click cell J2, which is what we copied over here, the Julius. We're going to press OK, and then over here, it took that capitalized Julius and propered it, right? Made it proper, a capital J, and the rest are lowercase letters. We should then be able to use the fill handle to drag down and I believe across, and that works because C is just taking what was in J and going over to I. That is good. We can save the workbook, and that sends us right into step 3, which is using the substitute function. So step 3, let's see, we are going to click on cell C3, which is right here. And we are going to press delete. And then in the text function in the library group, we're going to press substitute. We are going to click cell K3. K3 would be this. We are then going to press tab and type Wilkes in the old text box. In the new text box, we're going to type Davis and then press OK. So what happens here is wherever you find Wilkes, you will change that to Davis. Maybe there was a surname change or something like that. Click the warning box that appears next to cell 3 and then click ignore. We don't have one, but if you did, you could click that and press ignore. It should be like an exclamation mark inside of a yellow sign. You'll then press save, and we will learn about using other text functions in step 4. Step 4 starts us out by selecting the range F2 to F6. So F2 through F6, like so. We're then going to delete the entire range. Inside of this cell, we are going to click the text function library. We are going to type or click left. The function argument dialog box opens up, and we can specify our arguments for the left function, which returns a specified number of characters from the starting text string. So we can abbreviate our states automatically, is I believe what this wants us to do. We're going to click on cell N2, which is probably what we copied over here. So that's the CT followed by the zip. And then the number of characters we're going to pick here is 3. Which I think includes the white space, yes, which is fine. We're going to press OK and then fill that down. And you'll see here that the state is just grabbing the first 3 characters, including the white space, counting 1. So instead of getting the zip, we just have the states now because we know that is the first 2, or in this case 3 characters. A character is specified as anything. It could be an exclamation mark, a letter, or a number. That is a character. We filled that down with the fill handle. We have saved the workbook. Moving on to step 5, learning about flash fill. So step 5 has us clicking on cell O1. O1. That is quite far out. So here is O1. We are going to select the range. We're going to type zip code, press enter, 06907. So it wanted us to type that even though we have it next to us. We're going to click the number format tab, number format on the home tab, number, dialog box launcher. Bring that dialog box up. We are then going to press special and select zip. So special, zip. Okay. Then we're going to press OK. So it formats it as a zip code. Adding that 0 in there. We are then going to click Fill in the editing group over here and click Flash Fill. And that will try to be as smart as possible and fill it in the order you think it thinks it should go. Select the range 01 through 06, which is this. We are then going to press Copy in the Clipboard group on the Home tab. We are then going to go to cell G1 and press Paste. Select the range A1 through G6, like this. We are then going to click the Copy button. Let me zoom out. Copy button here. That copies it. We can see by the dotted line around us. Click the Paste. So select the range A6, click Copy, click the Paste arrow in the Paste group, and then select Values. Copy arrow. We just want to paste the values, so hovering over these to see what one that is. Values, that will actually remove all of the formulas we just did and just paste the values. We can then press Escape, selecting the range I1 through 06, which is the data we were using to help us manipulate. Press Delete to remove it. It's no longer any use to us. This is our finished data set here that we have manipulated and changed, and we can save up. We are finished with this.